Hello and welcome back to the world's greatest podcast, or searching for the world's greatest podcast. I'm your host, Amaldo Farallah, and I'm here with Nick.
Hello, my name is Nick Ryan. I go to SLA. I'm a senior, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So please tell us about your capstone.
Right now, my capstone is I'm doing an allegorical animation, which is essentially like an abstract animation that is up for interpretation and teaches a message that I'm trying to portray in the video, but I also want everyone who watches it to think of their own, or to find their own message in the video.
Yeah. So what do you would say was like, how did you know you wanted to do like animation, or like an animation for your capstone?
It's funny because in the beginning, like in the summer, I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my capstone, and I had so many ideas. Like I wanted to do an art exhibit, and where I would like create all these like in-person pieces, and it would be really cool, and I was going to collaborate with a bunch of people. But then I don't know, I felt like I was taking on too much for the workload that we had, because we had college stuff to figure out, and we had schoolwork to figure out, and I had a job, and it was like really hard. So for a while I just didn't know exactly what I was going to do until like a couple months ago. I watched this video on one of my favorite animators named Gennady Tartakovsky. He animated Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory, and I watched this video essay on him, and it inspired me. I was like, now I want to make an animation, and that was it. I just started and like kind of winged it. Like I had started another animation previous to that, like a while ago, because it was a small idea that I had, and I had a whole storyboard and everything written out for it. But then I never went through with it because I just didn't like it. But then with this one, I winged the animation, and I just let it go. Just let it take me where it wanted to take me. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what like doing like your whole animation thing, like what do you think was like, other than like Gennady Tartakovsky, what do you think was like the main inspiration for animation?
I would say just watching what I watch. Like a lot of what I watch are cartoons and stuff that have animation in it, and like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was incredible. That really inspired me a lot. It's a lot of recent influences. Like I watch a lot of like adult cartoons, as in like Family Guy, F is for Family, like all of that. I watched that, and I enjoyed that a lot. And all the animation I used to watch as a kid, like Fairly Odd Parents and Samurai Jack, they were my favorite. They were all a big part of it, and my goal is to bring that medium to a more professional level, because right now it's sort of like it's either for children or just for comedic purposes, and I wanted to take it to a more abstract, a more fine arts kind of level. That's what my goal is anyway. But my inspirations were the stuff that I did watch as a kid, and even the stuff that I watch now.
Like, what's your process, or what would be like your process for like coming up with like a bigger like to climb that sort of ladder of like getting more professional animation?
The process, college. Right now I'm going to. I decided on Temple, and I'm not even going just to learn how to draw. Like I'm going to the Tyler School of Art, and I'm not doing that because I want to learn how to draw the human anatomy or how to draw whatever. I'm going there to make connections, and I'm hoping that in making these connections with the people at Tyler and the people who work with Tyler, because they do work with a lot of art installations around the city. I'm hoping to climb that ladder through
Yeah,
through a network, because that's the biggest thing with art. Like you only ever become big in art. Like you can be as skilled as you can possibly be, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't have a network, then you're not going to get anywhere with art.
Yeah.
And that would be my process.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I know there's a lot of like, I don't know, like just like the film industry, you'd need like a lot of like connections to like get. What would be like your like? What would you say is like your dream like animation studio? Like if you could work for like anyone.
That's the thing. I don't want to work for an animation studio. I want to do my own stuff. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose like Cartoon Network. I really dig the risks that Cartoon Network decides to take on letting certain animations come through. Like Steven Universe, while I'm not personally a huge fan of that show, they did take a lot of risks in introducing the LGBTQ community into children's cartoons, which is very interesting because now like parents are not as what's the word? They're not like antagonizing it as because it's not like openly LGBTQ, but it still makes that risk, and that's why I think Cartoon Network would be a lot of fun because then I don't have to do the strict uniform animation. I can like propose ideas that would be risky, but like be enjoyable for me to work on, even though it might not be my animation or my show or whatever. I think it would be fun to be a part of that.
It's still good experience and stuff.
Yeah, that's, I mean, obviously part of climbing up the ladder is being one of the worker bees before. I can't just go straight to being a top dog without, having experience. And if I were to choose, I would want to work for Cartoon Network just because all of my favorite shows were on that channel. We're on that network, and I think it would be a lot of fun because on top of that you don't have to work strictly on children's animation. Like they also do Adult Swim, which would also be a lot of fun because a lot of the animations on there are funny.
I know like Samurai Jack, like they went to Adult Swim because they wanted to do like a more heavier tone for their final season. So. Yeah,
because a lot of their fans are old. They were older. Like me, I think it came out last year. I was 17. Like I'm not gonna watch a Y7 rated animation. I want to watch like
I want to see some blood.
Yeah. Like the final season of Samurai Jack was very dark.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff I want to do, though. I think it would be so much fun.
What do you think was like, or still are like the hard like parts of your capstone?
The hard parts, just deciding what you want to do for your capstone, because I'm a very indecisive person and I get a lot of ideas and I don't really commit to one after like 100 ideas. Then I'm like, okay, I want this one. But other than that, right now it's not so much. There's nothing really hard about my capstone. It's just very tedious. I've spent a lot of hours already, even though I've been working on it for like 2 months, and I've spent more than 80 hours already working on my animation, and it's only going to be more than a minute long. Like I think it'll be 1 minute and 30 seconds, but it's 24 frames a second. So that's 24 frames every second, and if you multiply like if you do the math, it's a lot of pictures that I have to draw. That isn't hard, it's tedious. Other than what is hard though is really like my biggest flaw with art in general is anatomy. So like figuring out how people's bodies work, because there's a person who looks like a human and I have to make sure their bodies move like a human's, and it's really hard figuring that out like without having some sort of reference or having any kind of experience in that, because usually I do busts, like I just go from the shoulders up drawings, but this really pushed me in terms of what I'm comfortable with. I really had to draw a lot of full body drawings, which are
Really?
yeah, like for me, very difficult.
Yeah. I know my brother does art, and he like has a hard time like doing like movement and like body wise stuff. So I kind of feel where you're coming from. Any final thoughts?
I had a lot of I think the capstone process is really a really good like I think it's a good project. I think the capstone project is a very good project because it's helping me a lot in terms of like what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think I'm for sure thinking about going into the animation industry, and I really want to do that because I thought of the animation for this capstone, and actually doing animations, even though they are tedious and difficult to do, they're a lot of fun. Hours go by and I'm like genuinely happy with what I'm doing. So I really enjoyed a lot of this capstone project.
That's good. Thank you so much for letting me interview you, Nick.
Thank you for having me. Seriously. I'm flattered that you wanted to interview me about my capstone.
Where can people like follow and like see your art?
So to see my art, you can follow me at Obsolete Hearing on Instagram, and then pretty soon I'll probably make a post on there about where to find the video, because I'm going to be done the video this week or this weekend, and I'll post it next week because I still have to do sound and music and all of that. But yeah, just follow me on Instagram at Obsolete Hearing, and you'll get all the info on there.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick.